People ask me what are the top 10 locations in the South Bay to live. These are my top 10. Palos Verdes Estates has a little section called Malaga Cove that I absolutely love. Some of the best things about living in Malaga Cove, it's like living in the Italian Riviera. It is stunning. If you're looking at the cove from the beach cities, gorgeous. All those houses are tiered up along those mountainsides. It is a stunning place to live. Not to mention the views of the beach cities, the quality of the air, the community. There's a great sense of community as well as the community focal point. There's a great place to eat there. There's a little market, little shopping area, which is fantastic. A lot of people who live there, grew up there, they're now inheriting their parents' homes, so you're going to see that generational wealth in this community. Some of the negatives of living in this Malaga Cove section, there is a committee that is going to oversee any renovations you have on your home. You have to go through the art jury to do any renovations. This is an issue for people who just want to get it done and do it the way they want to do it. Affordability in Malaga Cove is probably the biggest negative. It is very expensive to buy a starter home in Malaga Cove, starting at $2.3 million. That's your entry point, and then that can go all the way up to astronomical numbers. It's not a lot of walkability in Malaga Cove. It's very hilly. This might not be a negative for you, but it is for me. No diversity. Very, very little cultural diversity in this neck of the woods. Also, there is a long commute if you want to get to the freeway and get into Hollywood or even up to LAX airport. It's going to be a bit of a drive. You are tucked in away from everything. So great for those people that work from home, not great if you have a commute. One of my favorite spots in the South Bay is San Pedro. It is just so underrated. I absolutely love this area, especially the Point Fermin and central San Pedro, where you're close to the ocean. You have views of the ocean, the smell of the ocean. Cultural diversity is definitely there. There's going to be some really cool things that are going up in San Pedro. West Harbor is going to be this really great entertainment center with restaurants, amphitheater, places where people are going to be able to congregate. It's going to be a huge, huge, huge asset for this community. I believe that Point Fermin and Central San Pedro are just going to go up in value. Right now, you can get into Point Fermin at a price point of $550,000 for a single family residence. The homes are going to be a little bit on the smaller side, the same with the lots, no yard. Yes, it's a small craftsman style home. Yes, they're tiny, but you're blocks from the ocean. So walkability to the ocean is fantastic. Walkability to downtown is going to be great. And there's just a lot going on there. Port of Los Angeles is really great asset to that San Pedro area and the Point Fermin area. Positives to living in San Pedro is accessibility to the 110 freeway. You can shoot right up the 110 and get into downtown LA. There's literally no commute time to that 110. One of the biggest positives of San Pedro is affordability. My gosh, $550,000 and you're only a few blocks from the ocean. You're gonna have those months where you're gonna have some fog. You're gonna get socked in during May gray and June gloom. But that said, right now in the middle of summer, while everybody else in LA is just sweating, you're gonna have that offshore breeze. It's gonna be very nice. You're gonna have your cozy little mortgage where you're not spending an arm and a leg to live. And if you can work from home and start to engage in that community, I think it's a good starter home for young families. There's also an incredible job market there. You have the Port of Los Angeles in San Pedro, so you're gonna have a lot of longshoremen. It's just got a lot of great industry, an incredible job market. One of the negatives perhaps of this area is the views are not going to be of clean, clear, natural ocean. You are looking at one of the busiest ports in the country, Port of Los Angeles. There's going to be a very industrial view for you. I don't mind it. I actually like it. It kind of reminds me of San Francisco and Oakland, which is where I'm from. But for some people, that is a huge turnoff. So beware of that. You're not looking at natural views of Malibu and Catalina. No. You're looking at Terminal Island. You're looking at the Vincent Thomas Bridge. You're looking at shipping containers coming through. All right, so let's get over to Seaside, Torrance. I love this neighborhood. It is such a beautiful little neighborhood. It's close to the Riviera, which is in Redondo Beach. Walkability in your neighborhood is going to be good if you have pets, if you have dogs. Neighborhood is very community feel. suburban feel. It's a 5-minute drive to the ocean. A positive to Torrance is you have your own school district. It is a great school district, but please do your due diligence. Look at niche.com if you want to compare the beach cities with Torrance. There's actually a really great preschool, Seaside preschool. One of the best kept secrets of Seaside is they have a 9-hole golf course. It's a pitch and putt. You need a pitcher and a putter. Do not bring out a full set of clubs. And it's just so adorable. Great for those short games, good for kids, cash only. I think it's under $10, and they go until sunset. So really nice little perk of that little Seaside community. Another positive for Seaside is the affordability. You're close to Redondo Beach. You're literally right on the border of Redondo Beach, but you're gonna have Torrance prices. It's just a slight difference from one block to the next of zip codes, but you're gonna be able to have a more affordable home. Another positive for Seaside is Christmas time is gorgeous. There's actually long lines just to drive through that neighborhood to see those Christmas lights at Christmas time. A big positive to living in Seaside if you are into Christmas. If you hate putting up Christmas lights, that will be a negative, obviously. Some of the negatives of Seaside would be walkability. We're not going to be able to walk and get your coffee. You could probably ride a bike to the Riviera, but it is a bit of a drive. Another negative would be that you are very far from the freeway system. So if you want to get to Hollywood downtown, get to the 405 or the 110 freeway exchanges, it's going to be a bit of a drive. There's a lot of street driving, 25 minutes just to get to the freeway. That said, getting to LAX, you can just shoot up the Pacific Coast Highway, PCH, and you could be at LAX in 40 minutes, 35 minutes, depending on traffic. A negative to Seaside will be that you are on the west side of the Torrance Airport. Now, the planes do take off from that Torrance Airport, and they usually take off west unless those winds change. You will hear some traffic noise from that Torrance Airport. Hermosa Beach, west of the PCH. I love this beach city. It's definitely in my top 10. Beach life, that is a huge part of Hermosa Beach that I love. You are very close to the ocean. Walkability is stellar. You can get a cup of coffee, you can get a nice bite out, you can go to a wine bar, you can shop for gifts, you can go down to clubs, there's a comedy club, there's just so much to do in Hermosa Beach, not to mention the actual beach and the pier. There's all kinds of community events, parades, it's just such a good community. It really is. It's actually my favorite city and community, and I just think they're doing such a great job. The traditions that they continue to maintain year after year, the St. Patrick's Day parade, the fireworks, which actually I believe are more Manhattan Beach, but Hermosa takes advantage of all that. The volleyball tournaments that happen in the summertime. There's just a lot to do. Obviously, affordability is going to be a big negative for Hermosa Beach. If you have all the money in the world, Hermosa Beach all the way. Negatives to Hermosa Beach are going to be you're going to have small lots. You're not going to have a yard, but your yard is going to be essentially your beach, walking to the beach, being in the community. That's your yard. Great school system. There's no high school in Hermosa Beach. That's probably a negative, although you have two excellent options in Redondo or Manhattan Beach. If you are of high school age, you're going to be going to Redondo Unified High School, or you're going to be going to a Manhattan Beach high school. Positives of Hermosa Beach include that beautiful bike path, the Strand. Absolutely wonderful place to go for a run, walk your dog, go for a bike ride, teach your kid how to ride a bike. Excellent concrete, as I always talk about. So for roller skaters like me, you're gonna love Hermosa Beach, the Strand section. It's just awesome. It's just a scene. It's just a great place to be. I prefer it to any of the other beach cities. They're positive for Hermosa Beach. I just have to give them props. Christmas time parking is free downtown. They put these little red bags over the parking meters, and I just love that time of year. Thank you, Hermosa, for that. Crime is low. They're doing a great job. Good job, Hermosa Beach, for the crime and safety aspect. Very positive on that. All right, so negatives of Hermosa Beach are going to be affordability. That's the top one, okay? That keeping up with the Joneses mentality, you're going to have that in Hermosa Beach. Everybody's going to have either that electric bike, and if you don't have the electric bike, you're going to need the electric golf cart. You know, it's just keeping up with the Joneses in Hermosa. Summers are going to be very busy in Hermosa Beach. You're going to have a lot of tourists, so that could be a little bit of an annoyance in those summer months. Winters are going to be quiet. Could be a negative that they're quiet in the winter. Maybe you like the hubbub and all the action. Yeah, I gotta say it twice. Affordability for Hermosa Beach, unfortunately. So maybe buy in Redondo or Torrance or even Lomita, and then head over to Hermosa for those weekend jaunts. That'll be your place to go, place to hang. All right, let's go to South Redondo Beach. I love South Redondo Beach. I think it's fantastic. It's just walkability is a big thing for me. I love being able to walk to a restaurant or to go get coffee or even to the beach, which you can do in South Redondo. There's a lot going on as far as community in this neck of the woods. It's a great area with big lots, big houses. You have a little bit of a yard. It's a 30-foot height limit for homes in Redondo Beach, so that makes it easy for you if you are trying to maintain your view. South Redondo also has access to the beach, Redondo Pier, which is fantastic, and of course the Riviera. The Riviera is just such a great place to hang out, grab a bite to eat, meet friends, have a cocktail, go out and watch that sunset at the end of the day. It's just such a nice little community point, and you can get to it very easily from South Redondo. Positives of living in South Redondo are you are going to be in an excellent school system. Redondo Beach Unified is a very good school system. Please check niche.com, do your due diligence on that. Talita Elementary School is fantastic. Alta Vista is also an excellent school. That will be your elementary school in South Redondo as well. There's a great middle school, there's a great high school, so as far as the school systems are concerned, you're covered in South Redondo. The negatives of living in Redondo Beach, and particularly South Redondo, are commutes. If you need to get into Los Angeles, you know, outside of the bubble of the beach cities, it is very far away from the freeway system. It's about 25-minute street driving time to get to the 405. Another positive to South Redondo is you're very centrally located in terms of the South Bay. You're between Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and the peninsula. So if you want to go hiking, go up into the peninsula. If you need to get to the airport, just shoot up the Pacific Coast Highway to the LAX airport. If you want to make a living wage in Redondo Beach, you're going to be hard pressed. You are going to have to commute to be able to have the affordability of living in that part of the South Bay. Now, if you work from home, fantastic. South Redondo might be the place for you. What is the purchase price? What is the entry purchase price for South Redondo? Well, right now in the current market, you can buy a condo for $1 million. If you wanted to buy a single family residence, the entry purchase price would be about $1.8 million in the current market. All right, so we're going to go back to Palos Verdes Estates again. Valmonte, this section of the South Bay is fantastic. Very solid neighborhood feel, idyllic streets, lots of trees, pride of ownership for the homeowners. It's just a beautiful place to grow up. Another positive is you're in a great school district. There's actually a great elementary school there with this very fairy tale like garden, community garden on that campus. Entry point, the Valmonte real estate market is $2.6 million. That's the current market here in the summer of 2024. That brings me to the negatives of Valmonte. Affordability. Again, this is something we're going to run into a lot in the South Bay, unfortunately. There's no job market in Valmonte. You're going to have to commute to get anywhere for work. If you work from home, that's a positive for you. This is a work from home community. If you want to get to the trails, go for a walk with your dog, wonderful. You will need to drive to get your shopping done, to get to a school, to do any of the things that you need to do in daily life. So walkability is not great. All right, so now we're going to Lomita. Lomita is so underrated. You know, they've gotten a bad rap over the years. I don't know why. There's some history here that people have just glommed onto, and for whatever reason, I don't get it, because it is just a beautiful little community. You're nestled right next to Torrance, between Torrance and Palos Verdes. Palos Verdes is literally right next to Lomita, so if you wanted to go hiking or get into nature, you can. It is more affordable than Torrance, than Redondo Beach, certainly Palos Verdes. San Pedro still has Lomita beat on affordability, but it is such a great community. There's a strong community feel. If you live in Lomita and you shop in Lomita, then you know the community. People know each other in this neck of the woods. Southwest corner of Lomita is one of my favorite parts of Lomita. It has agricultural zoning. So yes, you are in the South Bay and city. You're not in Palos Verdes Estates, which also has a lot of agricultural zoning. You are in a very suburban urban environment with agricultural zoning. That's unique. So that's just that southwest corner. So you can have chickens, you can have a horse. I've heard donkeys in Lomita, or I know there's pigs living in this part of Lomita. So there's something really endearing about having a pig next door. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Again, affordability for Lomita. You're gonna have a nice house, you're gonna have a nice lot with a yard, maybe even a lemon tree for under $1 million. That's just unheard of in the South Bay, where most of the houses here in the beach cities and even in Torrance, they don't have much of a backyard. Lomita, you will get a backyard. The southwest corner of Lomita is also great because the walkability to the Rolling Hills Plaza, which is actually in Torrance, so you can easily get to Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Bevmo. There's a Nike store. There's a Sidecar Donuts, and a ton of places to get to, a lot of retail. Negatives of Lomita are that you are on the east side of the Torrance airport. Remember, we were talking about that for Seaside. The aircraft often take off west towards the ocean and they land from the east side. So you are going to hear small aircraft. Not a huge issue, doesn't bother a lot of residents, but beware. That's what you're going to be hearing. The next location that I really love in the South Bay is Rolling Ranchos. What I love about Rolling Ranchos is the views. It's actually on the hill heading up towards PV. Some people might think it's actually Palos Verdes, but it's not. And you have these gorgeous views of downtown LA. I've seen people who had views that were 180 of the ocean, Malibu, all the way down to San Pedro and Long Beach. So there's a lot of beautiful, beautiful views in Rolling Ranchos. It is a very cul-de-sac feel. There's no through traffic. If you're going in there, there's one street in and one street out. Very quiet, very family oriented. School district is LA Unified. Some people move to the areas for certain school districts, and being LA Unified, you're attached to a much bigger school district, which makes it harder to tailor to their students. Accessibility to the freeway system is a little bit of a drive, not nearly as bad as the beach cities, but you are kind of tucked away from that freeway system. So getting into Hollywood or downtown LA or even the airport, you're gonna have to have a bit of a commute. I also think Lomita needs to have more park space. There, I said it. Okay, I said it. We need more park space. How do you create more space? You don't. It is what it is, but I just would like to see more parks in Lomita. All right, let's go to Rolling Hills Estates. What's so great about Rolling Hills Estates? Now, this is definitely one of my top 10. I had to include that in this list. Purchase price to get into Rolling Hills Estates is about $3.4 million. That's the entry point in the current market. So yes, affordability in Rolling Hills Estates is going to be very challenging. That said, there's a reason for it. A lot of Rolling Hills Estates is agricultural zoning, which means there's going to be equestrian zoning. You can have farm animals, you can have a little bit of a farm. The lots are big. The lots are very big in Rolling Hills Estates. Many of the lots are going to be butted up against the trail system. So if you own a horse or you have horse stables, you're going to be able to access those horse trails. You're going to be able to walk on those horse trails and see horses and cows and sheep and goats and chickens and all kinds of stuff. Not to mention there's a huge population of peacocks in this area, which is, in my opinion, quite cool. So some of the residents might look at that as a negative, but I love peacocks. I think they're awesome. And to be able to run into a peacock on a trail while you're hiking is just like next level. Positives of this area is healthy lifestyle. You are going to be working your land, whether you have a garden or you just want to go outside and get a breath of fresh air. It is going to be a very, very nice, natural place to live. Rolling Hills Estates is very special in that way. It does not feel like LA County. You are in a place unto itself. It's very much like a fairy tale in this area. I spend a lot of time walking and hiking and running in this area. I just enjoy being there. I enjoy the sights, the sounds, the smells of this neck of the woods. It's also a very wooded area, lots of trees, lots of grass. So high fire zone, which will add to insurance costs. If you are buying a home in this area, please look at your insurance immediately. As soon as you get into escrow, you need to figure out what those costs are going to be, because that could make or break your decision to buy that home. Of course, another negative of Rolling Hills Estates is affordability. There are going to be some condos in this area. If you are a first-time home buyer, you're probably not going to be looking in Rolling Hills Estates. If you can afford, I would highly recommend Rolling Hills Estates. That area is just not like anything else in LA County. It really is an incredible community. Oldtown Torrance is an incredible community as well. I don't want to leave that out. Walkability is fantastic. You're right near Oldtown Torrance with the Oldtown Torrance Bakery and the shopping and restaurants in that area. Good sense of community. There's a lot of wonderful parks in Torrance. I think Torrance has some of the best parks actually of all the beach cities. Great craftsman style houses, affordable price point, purchase point is affordable. You can get a home in that Oldtown Torrance area there's one on the market today for $788,000. So that's considerably less than $1 million. And that's a great price point, entry price point for a new home buyer, first-time home buyers. Other positives are you're close to the freeway system, you're close to LAX. The job market in Torrance is top-notch. There's some great industry and infrastructure for the job market. You can make a living and receive incomes that help you afford the area you live in. So that's huge. Not to mention we have that airport. There's a lot of infrastructure. There's a lot of amazing assets to living in Torrance. You're in a great school district, great high schools. A lot of people come from all over just to move to Torrance for the high schools. So lots going on in Torrance and a lot of positives to living in Torrance. I'm a realtor here in Los Angeles. My name is Jessiqa Pace. And of course, I can work with you to get you into that first home or fifth home. I'd love to answer your questions and make sure that you are clear on what it takes to get into this market and what might be the best place for you.